Hi everyone, and welcome back to Crochet Cricket. This is Christine, and today I'm going to teach you how to add a zipper lining to your crochet pouch or bag. This is a beginner level tutorial, so if you haven't done this before, I hope that you'll find this an easy way for you to add a zipper. Here's one of the bags that I've done, and this is how it looks on the inside. I used the same thread here that I used for the outside of the bag. And if you would like to learn how to make this pouch or travel bag, click on the link in the description. I have another tutorial for this. Okay, so the materials that you're going to need in order to do this, you're going to need a bag, of course, a little pouch that you've crocheted. You're going to need a zipper that is a bit longer than your pouch. It can be 1.5 to 2 inches longer than the pouch or bag that you want to add the zipper to. You'll need a pair of scissors. You'll need a needle. Because I'm using the same thread that I used for my pouch, this is a category 1 cotton yarn. You could use a category 1 fine or a category 2 cotton. It should be fine for this technique. And I have this very sharp darning needle that is slim. It has a big enough hole here for the category 1 cotton, and it's very sharp. So it lets me go straight through the zipper material very easily. So those are the materials that you're going to need to add the zipper to your bag. Let's get started. Okay, so this first step is to figure out how much yarn you need to cut. So I'm going to measure about 4.5 to 5 lengths of the bag. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so that's about how much yarn you're going to need. I'm going to cut that. And what I usually do is I take the corner. You're going to start in one of the 2 corners of your bag. I'm going to fasten the yarn onto one corner. So I'm going to thread my needle. And remember, this is a darning needle with a very pointy end. It's not an actual sewing needle. And I'm using the category 1 cotton that I used to make the bag. So I'm going to just go in one of the 2 corners, and I'm going to just go under one of the stitches from my last row and come up and I'm just going to attach this yarn to the bag so it's secure. And I've got a little bit of a tail there, that's fine. I'm going to whip back and go into that same hole again so that it secures this yarn onto the bag. And once that's anchored on, then what I'm going to do is take my zipper. I'm going to start with the end that has the tab on it, and I'm going to just fold the zipper in half, right? That's what I'm going to do. And then I'm going to tuck that in to this corner up here and pinch it. And what I want is for the other end of my bag to come just to, I want the zipper to come just to the end. So I'm just going to pull this down. Of course, if your zipper is very, very long, you'll have to like cut it and make a new stop on it, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to work with what I have. I'm going to just adjust until I get that zipper to come down to the other end of my bag, and it can go just a little bit past the edge. That looks pretty good. Okay. So I'm just pinching here, and while I'm pinching the two sides, I'm going to enter my thread, and I'm going to tack it down. I'm going to tack this down. So I'm going to sew through both sides of the zipper while it's folded. So I'm going to enter in somewhere under there and just go through both layers of the zipper. That's gonna start to tack it in place. Now I'm gonna go back around to where I came from, right? And I'm gonna do it again a second time. Okay, so I'm gonna tack it down. Get my tail out of the way. You're just kind of whipping around and doing the same stitch on top of itself. Okay, so that tacks it down in place. So for the moment, you could do it twice or you could do it 3 times, it's fine. And then what I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to pin my zipper in place along this front here. So I'm going to need, you're going to also need, I forgot to mention this, some pins to pin your zipper in place. These pointy straight pins are the best. Okay, so now I'm gonna just line up the edge of the bag with the teeth of the bag. So you want to come right about to the middle of the teeth of the bag and just tack it in place like that. And then we'll do that all the way across till we get to the end, and I'll meet you back. Okay, so you can see now that I've tacked my zipper in all the way across my bag. There are these little guidelines on the zipper, on your zipper. If you have a good zipper, you should see this little line running down the middle of the zipper there. So you want to try to follow this when you're going across this middle line here. Okay, so you just want to go into the zipper and try to get as close to that line as you can. You don't want to be too high up. Okay. The first stitch is a little bit challenging. Okay, and you're just going to sew across that line. So I'm going to go in from the opposite side, and I'm just going to go down about the same length as I go in. So I'm making small little stitches about this wide, and I'm following that little guideline on the back of the zipper, having a look to see where it's coming through on this side to make sure that looks good. And just keep going along like this. And once you get past that first pin, it's a little bit easier. And now we can take out that pin. You can see how it's looking. There. So we're going to keep going like this, following that guideline on the back of the stitch, on the back of the zipper, sorry, in and out. So we did a bar there, do another small bar here, poke it through, have a look to the front, see if it's in a good spot, pull it through, poke it through the front, have a look at the back, and just try to evenly stitch your way across and do all the way to the end, and then meet me back and I'll show you how to tack down the other side of the zipper. Okay, so I've stitched across like this. Yeah, you're just going to follow that guideline all the way across, and then when you get to the end, I have one pin left. So I'm going to keep going. I'm right here. Let's see if I can. Okay, so I'm right here. So I'm going to do my last few stitches. Coming up on the corner. And I tack this down so that actually it goes a little bit past the end, just so you can flatten it out on the end here when you come up to it. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and take out that here. So now what you're going to want to do when you get up here to the end is we want to tack down this end as well, the same as we did the other end. In order to do that, we're going to need to open up the zipper a little bit, fold it over on top of itself. This side's a little bit more tricky, but make sure that you keep these two pieces level with each other. You don't want one to be higher up than the other one. So when you put these in place here, try to keep them level with each other. And then we're going to tuck that in. To the bag, keeping them level. All right. And for our next stitch, gotta make sure I have both of them tucked in, and they're level. I'm going to go into both of them and go straight across to the other side. And this will tack it in place. Okay, and I'm going to whip back around to where I started and do it again. So we're doing that tacking twice, at least twice. You could do it 3 times. And as long as you're using like the same color yarn that you used for your bag, it's not that noticeable, I don't find. Okay, so now we're on this side of the bag now. We're going to need to unzip the bag. And we're going to need to tack down this side of the zipper on the other side of our bag. So I'm going to do that and then I'll meet you back. Okay, so I've put in my pins for this side of the bag. This is how it's looking so far. That's on that side, and that's the pins on this side. I can go ahead and zip it up and see how it's looking, like that. Okay, and now we're over here on this other side, and we're just going to repeat that stitching all the way down this side. So I'm going to do that and I'll meet you back. Okay, so I've stitched all the way up to my last pin here, so I'm just going to finish those last few stitches that I have. Okay, so Just get those last few stitches in there. I'll go ahead and take out the pin. So we're kind of back to the beginning. There's just a couple more stitches I can do in there. And there we go. My tail is there. And if I wanted to, I could do a little bit more stitching here. And this is what it's looking like. I'm just gonna stop right there to show you guys. And I did it a little bit tight across this back side here. It just was challenging on camera. So that's what it's looking like. And I tuck in my tail so I can zip it up and show you. Okay. So we've got our little pouch with a zipper. And that's the inside. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please like, comment, and subscribe. And let me know what else you guys would like to see.